Is China suffering a balance sheet recession? What does that mean? Chinese property values crashed after the burst of a massive housing bubble starting in 2020. That left families and businesses with lots of debt. Now, all across China, borrowers are paying back their loans instead of spending or investing. That spells trouble for the economy. Let me explain. Imagine a family earning $1,000. It will put $900 back into the economy in the form of rent, groceries, or other such payments. Usually, the remaining $100 would go to the bank, which then lends it out for more investment and spending. If the family owes money, that $100 goes to paying down debt, and that's the right thing to do individually. But what if everybody owes money, wants to pay it back, and nobody wants to borrow? When households, businesses, everybody is focused on paying down debt at the same time, money gets stuck in the bank, less money circulates, and the economy suffers. Even if the government lowers interest rates to stimulate demand, the normal response to a recession, few are willing to borrow and invest because everybody is busy paying down debt. This is called a balance sheet recession. So what can be done? Our guest today is the economist who first identified this problem in Japan years ago. He says the government must step in, borrow, and spend to stimulate growth. Why? Because right now, nobody else will. Since you identified this in Japan, there's been examples of balance sheet recessions elsewhere in the world. I wonder if you could just quickly highlight where else this has occurred in recent years.
Well, after Japan 1990, the next candidate was actually Germany, because Germany, the dot-com bubble was huge, and that burst, and the German household sector stopped paying down debt, stopped borrowing money altogether. But luckily, Germany was within the Eurozone, and other countries in the Eurozone were not affected by the dot-com bubble, so they kind of saved the Germans. But then in 2008, housing bubble burst on both sides of the Atlantic, and the entire Eurozone plus the United States all fell into balance sheet recession. And so you can tell that Chairman Bernanke brought rates down to zero very quickly, thinking that that would then get the economy to move. But as we all know, the United States also suffered many years of very slow growth, very low inflation rate, even though Chairman Bernanke also added massive amount of liquidity in the banking system. If we believed in what Milton Friedman once said, that if you pump the money, the inflation should pick up, well, that Japanese experience from 1990 and the American experience from 2008 proved that if there are no borrowers, monetary policy is largely dead in the water. This is no time to cut budget deficit. This is the time to increase the deficit, because if government borrows the first $100 and put that back into the income stream, I spend $900, government borrow and spend $100, it's $1,000 against my original income of $1,000, then the economy will remain stable. And that's basically what Japan did for the last 20-some years, or almost 30 years. And as a result, even though Japanese real estate prices, commercial real estate, by the way, fell 87% nationwide, not just a little corner of Tokyo, the entire country, Japanese GDP never fell below the peak of the bubble for the entire 34 years since 1990. So if you do this correctly, you can keep the economy going, allow private sector to pay down debt, and you actually come out of this thing.